Ooh, the Sci-Fi Society crew.
We are the Sci-Fi Society.
DJ Anubis. Here with the Meltdown Radio podcast with my special guest, Sci-Fi Century, our fearless leader and founder of the Sci-Fi Society.
That whole story is like, that's pay-per-view, guys. You don't get a lot of that stuff.
All right,
How's it going, everyone? We are now live, and I would like to welcome everyone who is watching to the Sci-Fi Society podcast live stream, volume 22, and joining me, the Sci-Fi Society themselves, to, of course, my right, and my everywhere, all you guys. I mean, it's been a while that I haven't done a stream, but of course, I cannot do these great streams without Gojira 851, Matt Jacobson, and for a long time we haven't had him on, and that's Hoserman X, Jose Petran, and the Master in Chief of the Metal Tavern, DJ Anubis, Sexual Chocolate, aka Jedi Granville, aka Walter LaBelle Ross, and Jake Paul. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Sci-Fi Society. And I wanted to do one last stream before the end of the year, and I wanted it to be a Godzilla movie, and a Godzilla movie that I've always enjoyed, one of my top favorites, probably one of my top 10. And it felt like the right time to do it, and I wanted to gather the Sci-Fi Society, and we will be discussing, talking about, and reviewing Invasion of the Astro Monster. And I'm excited to talk about it because even after we already had a big, blockbuster Toho film in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, this one brings back, of course, the three tutelar monsters. And I'm gonna go individually with everyone and just ask when or they if they remember when they first saw this film. And I want to start off with Gojira 851.
The first time I watched this film was on VHS in Pennsylvania. I was at a mall with the family, and I saw it, the box of it, on a shelf in a movie store. As we were leaving the mall, and parents picked it up, and it, just got home and just started watching it. Now, there to Eggheart, what's up, Kevin? How you doing? So we got home and watched it. I wasn't the best Godzilla fan as a kid, though, because I watched movies out of order, so it did leave me perplexed at the end of it. But yeah, that was my first time watching it. I think I was 6 years old when I watched it. So that's the first time watching it. Yeah, just picking it up from VHS and yeah, having fun with it.
Okay, Hoserman X, Primo.
Hey, well, I remember watching it the first time, like when I used to live in Chicago, my younger years, and every Saturday I would look up the TV guide and see what horror shows they would show on TV. Like there was a program called like Seven Ghoulie or horror time hour or what, something like that. But it was on the TV, on the regular TV, so I really enjoyed it.
That's good. No, I mean, hey, it's great, man. Go ahead. You're gonna say something? Go ahead, Primo. I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I'm good. That's what I can
Oh,
remember.
okay.
My younger years, and I would watch that on the TV on those horror shows.
All right, cool. No problem. Okay, Jake Hall.
The first time I watched Invasion of the Astro Monster, it was my mom had recorded it off of TV when TNT had like the Monster Bash and all that, and they had a Godzilla marathon. So that was my first introduction to Invasion of the Astro Monster, aka Godzilla versus Monster Zero. And I actually enjoyed it. It was a unique take, especially without having Mothra in there, and it was just Godzilla and Rodan taking on Ghidorah. So I thought it was an interesting team up. So
Cool. Jedi Granville.
Well, just like I almost lost my train of thought there. Sorry. No, no. God, dog, I'm getting old. No, I saw it on TBS when they were starting to show more of the back in the show movies back in that time, and and I was like 17 when I saw this one. I mean, I think it was right after I saw Ghidorah, And then the following Saturday after that, they showed what it was called Monster Zero. I watched it, and I was kind of just perplexed by the storyline. You know, like this is really kind of deep for what it is, you know, especially at the time. But I enjoyed it, and it's kind of weird that we're talking about this film, you know, particularly on this day since this is Ghidra's 60th birthday, you know, which is fascinating, and I feel like that should be a thing. That's a plus right there.
Sweet. Anubis, DJ Anubis.
Honestly, I don't know when was the first time I'd seen this. Like when it comes to my early years or younger years, I remember those films well because I'd go on Saturday matinees and my dad would drop me off and I would just go in and watch whatever movies. But it was usually like, you know, Godzilla versus Mecha, Godzilla 74, or Godzilla versus Gigan. So it was just those I remember pretty clearly. With this one, I don't remember exactly when I saw it, but chances are it's probably a lot like Jake or somebody else that caught some sort of marathon at some point and they were just playing a bunch of them. And that's when I just sat down and watched it and saw it then. But yeah, I don't remember the exact moment, but I do remember enjoying it.
Cool. No, yeah, I mean, I'll just mention mine real quick. It's like it wasn't that long after I saw Ghidra that I saw Invasion of Astro Monster, aka Godzilla versus Monster Zero. So I enjoyed it. I kind of thought when I was younger, it's like, am I watching the same film? Is it a different film? You know, where's Mothra and stuff like that? But yeah, it's definitely a movie all in its own, especially because of the addition of actual aliens, actual, you know, people from Planet X. And when we start talking about and elaborating on the film, we'll get more on that. But I do want to, you know, mention this. You know, Anubis, you know, thanks for laughing my ass off. I told him you had me tell him to fuck off. So, Kevin, I apologize, my brother, that I couldn't have you on. You know, you have your work, and I wanted to do something before the end of the year or before Christmas. So, fuck you too, my brother. I just kidding. I love you, Kevin. No, I love you too, Kevin. But no, man. But Anubis sneaked me the, you know, the message, and I got it. And it was clear. But no, man. I really wish I could have had you, man. But I just wanted to try to do one before Christmas, and I wanted it to be a Godzilla film. But you're here right now, man. So that's all that matters. Oh yeah, see you. Yeah. Hey, the entertainment headquarters, Sci-Fi Society, Metal Tavern. You know, yeah, we're all just one big conglomerate, man, and we all like to fuck with each other and give each other shit. But hell, if we didn't, we would be some really dull motherfuckers. So now, I just wanted to get to the. Hold on. I love you too. Yes, most definitely, man. But
Oh my
no, thank you. But thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody who's watching, everybody who's on. But now let's just get to, you know, I want to get to some information and get down to the movie we're gonna review, and that is Invasion of the Astro Monster. The Great War of Monsters is a 1965 kaiju film directed by Ishiro Honda with special effects by the legendary Ichi Tsuburaya. It is the sixth film. It is the sixth film in the Godzilla franchise. Showa period. The film was a Japanese-American co-production, hence why, you know, Nick Adams was a big part of the film. And I mean, it was collaboration between Toho Co. Ltd. and UPA. The film stars Akira Takarada, Nick Adams, the lovely Kumi Mizuno, Akira Kubo, and Yoshio Tsuchiya, and Haruo Nakajima as Godzilla, of course, another legend, another icon, and Masaki Shinohara as Rodan. And that's my boy right there. Got to mention Rodan.
Yeah.
And then Shuichi Hiroshi as King Ghidorah. Here we go. It all starts. Here's what it all starts. But in the film, aliens plead with humanity to borrow Godzilla and Rodan to defeat Ghidorah, only to betray the humans and unleash the monsters upon the Earth. So we already heard the majority of the cast. So getting to the film, well, first I just wanted to mention that before we start, it's clearly, as any other real Godzilla fan, true Godzilla fan will know, it does have similarities somewhat to Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, but the addition of aliens from Planet X, the addition of Planet X itself, was a great part of the story. I mean, some people may not think much about the film, but to me, it's one of my favorites. It's up there, and even the use of the practical effects, the miniatures, the suitmation, the suit actors, the legendary Haruo Nakajima, and it's all the suit actors did great. Now, getting to the film, I just want to say that I love this film. Like I love the film, like definitely to death. And as we start off, I want to start with Joe. I want to actually start with Jedi Granville because I know he really likes this film also. So Jedi started off how the film starts, and we'll jump from Sci-Fi Society member and just take it away, man.
Well, to get the ball rolling, now I have seen both versions of this film in America and in Japan. But the one thing about this is they are not that dissimilar from one another. There's just like maybe 2 or 3 cuts taken from the Japanese cut that's not seen in the American cut. But if you watch it, it flows pretty well. You know, what I mean, you don't really miss anything. But to start it off, the American cut, you know, you hear that ominous, you know, it's kind of giving that ominous, foreboding kind of feel to it that you don't know what's coming. You know, it's like when you hear it, it's just like, okay, there's something on the horizon that we don't know. There's a bigger threat going on here, you know. But when you listen to it when we see the Japanese cut, they play that march, you know, they Hero March and everything, and it doesn't give you that same idea, you know. But the bottom line is, when you hear the music in the American cut, it really gets you the feeling of, okay, we know there's something going on here, but what is it? And we don't know if it's dealing with this, we don't know if it's dealing with that. We just know there's something going on. So, cut to past the credits and everything, we see that P1, the ship that get the names of the. I mean, oh my God, how am I not remember the names? I mean, I've seen this film like 1,000 times.
Fuji, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn and
Fuji.
Fuji. Thank you. I'm like, what is wrong with me, man? I'm getting a brain fart here. They're flying. They're astronauts. They're heading to a unknown planet that's in the vicinity. And it's in subtitles. It says that there's a planetoid that's coming into their solar system, and they don't know what it is, you know. So they had this ship specially made fly there, and you know, they're just going, and you know, they don't know what it is. They just want to, I mean, because that's not normal for a planet to come into another solar system. In fact, it's not normal for a planet just to, well, let me correct myself. There was a phenomenon where a planet did recently, or as I say recently, like 30 years ago, that did come into our solar system. So I guess in a way, it does kind of play into reality. But this planet X, they're heading towards it, and they're trying to find out what's unknown about it. And in just a few kind of settings, you find out different characters when you're watching this. You know, Fuji asked the professor, you know, he said, Doctor, is Halumi around? And you see this little cut where, you know, she's saying, don't tell him I'm here, you know. And it's like, no, not now.
Well, okay, just give me 1 second. I just want to throw another shout out. ETN, Entertainment Talk Nation, Big Rob has jumped onto the chat, and hey man, thanks for showing up. You and Kevin from Entertainment Talk Entertainment headquarters. You know, we already know who Rob is, man. Huge Godzilla fan, well known. One of the first kaiju tubers that I ever saw. Probably the first one I ever saw when I even thought
OG.
about becoming a content creator. And yeah, man. I mean, freaking ETN in the house, bro. Entertainment Talk Nation, man. Thanks for joining, man. And we'll do our best, bro. And yes, we are. Yes, we are those lovely kaiju fans. Thank you very much, man. We take that as a huge compliment. But yeah, Rob, thanks for stopping by, brother. Okay, go ahead, Jedi Granville. My bad.
But no, no, I mean, no, but I'm just spinning it, but it's short and sweet. But no, in these few, that's something I loved him, Mr. Hanna did here, is you get characters without having to say who's who and what's what, by like saying just slapping in the face, like weird knowing who this person is. So when we see that interaction, when she shows, when we see her saying, don't tell him I'm here, you pretty much are like, okay, that must be assistant. And then, Glenn, when he cuts off and say, tell her, then I don't do anything until I get back, get back. It's kind of indicating something about something that she might be in a person that she's involved with, but we don't really know. So we cut back to Fuji and Glenn, and Fuji asks Glenn, like, what's so funny? It's like, you should have left your sister packed on ice. It's like, you don't understand, And it's right there that you realize that, okay, it has to do with something along the lines of that she liked somebody, but the brother doesn't approve. And this is something that was pretty much, I'm not sure if it's still like that in Japan now, but it's standard where the older sibling can actually decide if the younger sibling can or improves who they're going to marry in their lives. So, and then we see that she tells the doctor, doctor is saying, he could be so, men can be so unreasonable, and she says that so loudly, but she's like, the doctor understands because he's like, okay, I get it, you like somebody, but he doesn't approve of it. So, and then we kind of cut. I mean, this is a quick cut. We see that he asked her, this friend of yours, what is he? He's an inventor. Cut. We see, Akira Kubo's character, we just hear this loud sound. Like, what is this? This is the Lady Guard alarm, and it's just annoying sound effects, just like, what is this, And I'm not sure. And this is the thing I don't know here. I've looked this up, but I don't know for sure. Is that his older sibling, sister, or whatever, or just somebody he lives with? I don't really know. I mean, I'm not for sure the information on that, but the woman that he's staying with comes up and says, turn that thing out. I can hear it all the way down the street and everything, And just a little anecdote here, real quick. The baby that she has on her back, we see, or he or she. I don't know what to say. Though. Bottom line, the baby is, in one scene you see it, has an expression, but the next scene when she says, "I can hear it down the street," you see that baby with this kind of just blank expression. I mean, it's like, what are y'all talking about? It's kind of weird, but no, we get to establish the character of these characters right there, and I just say it's establishing all these people at once without having to just like throw it in your face. Kind of like you get the idea that this person here is a scientist. We know that her brother is an astronaut, and we know that's her sister. All these things come into play. So once that's established, then we see that he gets a phone call, because she's like, I can't even do it like she does. She screams out his name, saying that the telephone. And like I say, she tells him, now you got a call. It's like, okay. So he goes down. Yeah, Kazumi. I can't do it like she goes. I can't do it like she gets there. It's just see, if I try it, it's gonna sound worse than what she says it like. But when she does it, he goes down to answer the phone, and he gets a big surprise saying contract. somebody wants to buy his invention. We still don't know what that's about. We think it's just somebody wants to buy it and give him a lot of money. Okay, cut back to the space station, the station there, where the doctor is talking about what is Planet X, what is this place, what is this planet, and what they're talking about. They find out that this planet is actually interfering with a lot of the radio signals on Earth. Why is it doing that? We don't know. It's just giving off that hint of that. So, and I don't want to keep on rambling because like I say, I'm pretty sure I can talk to death about this, but we established that right here that he's saying that that's the reason why they sent P1 to go and investigate, because they want to know why is this planet that's new to the solar system, kind of giving these kind of blackout of the radio signals on Earth. So now, if you want to you want to get somebody else to talk. Like I said, I can carry on now, but I don't want to be the person that keeps talking, because I can ramble on all night.
Is I'm getting feedback from somewhere. I don't know if it's me again, but I have the earbuds on. But you guys can hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
I could. And I got earbuds too.
You guys can hear me? Okay, how about you, Anubis?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just trying to see if I turn my mic off, if the feedback's still there. And usually it is, so it's not me.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm just trying something real quick.
Well, it's not me, because I just muted my TV and my TV volume's low.
Yeah.
No, okay. How about now? Is there still feedback?
I didn't really hear anything to begin with.
Feedback. Check. Test. Check.
I hear like
I wonder.
a TV
I'm trying to check it.
but...
Yeah, I do hear. I hear it also. Huh.
It's like a TV's going.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a second.
This is why we do this live, ladies and gentlemen, because we always have.
We work out the kinks later.
Yes.
I don't give a shit. Hold on.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Slap that ass and keep on going. There you go.
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I don't hear
it.
Yeah,
I don't hear it.
Okay.
Hey, Goji.
Yep.
You might want to sell a couple of figurines and buy yourself a mic.
Why?
I can barely hear your ass.
You see, I was at work all day, and my phone is about dead. And if I plug my mic in, then it'll be really dead. I won't be able to participate.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Only on the Sci-Fi Society can we fuck with each other like this. But yeah, okay. So, okay, yeah, I'll just give my opinion on that scene, and talking about Tetsui and everything like that, and then the opening up of the eeriness, like what Walter was talking about, like the opening, the eeriness, the music, talking about Tetsui, and then talking about Glenn and Fuji going to to space, the whole journey and everything, and then leaving off where Jedi Granville was talking about, and that's the invention of the lady alarm. That is, I think that's what they called it, lady alarm or something.
Lady guard. I could be wrong.
It's lady guard.
Yeah, or lady guard. There we go. But yeah, it's of course it's a freaking high pitch sounding device that's just makes your freaking drives you nuts. It's like it drives you nuts. And he's like, oh, so you heard it all the way down the street? Like, yeah, I can hear it that freaking far, you dumbass. But yeah, that's the cool part of it. But okay, now I'll pass it to Gojira 851. Take it from there, man.
Hey, I'm gonna try something real quick. Go ahead, pass it to someone else real quick.
All right, Anubis.
So yeah, after that segment there, they send out Fuji and Glenn to Planet X to figure out, or at least check it out to see what's going on there, to test the surface, and it's basically like checking out what the moon is and making a moon trip or whatever. So they're going out to Planet X. They pass like I think Jupiter or Saturn, one of them, and then they say, "Oh yeah, there's Planet X," and so they land. And one thing I appreciate about this scene when I was watching it was, for the time, the model they used in the backdrop for the rocket, like where it kind of folds out the door and then it uses an elevator to lower them to the ground. I thought that was really clever. Not something that I would have thought of for that time, but it was a really nice effect that they used. And so obviously they start going and testing, putting their flag out there, like, they discovered a new land. And then they're keeping in touch with their comms. And as they split up, Fuji runs into, which is basically like a lightning storm. And at first he doesn't know what's going on, but he's communicating with Glenn and is like, if there's like a lightning storm or some sort of thing, they discover that the soil is sort of somewhat livable, not like Earth, but they can tell it. And then he notices there's actually footprints, which means somebody's there. And so he tries to get in touch with Glenn to say, hey, we're not alone. We should probably get back to the ship. And then he can't get in touch with Glenn. Glenn's not answering. And at this point, he's like, I think it's when Ghidorah first shows up. And, they know who Ghidorah is by that name. But obviously later on, the Azilians like explain to him that, they call it Monster Zero. But anyway, he's on the surface and Ghidorah's out there and, he's trying to hide out or whatever. And so then this, I don't know what you'd call like an elevator or something pops out of the ground, to which he hears a voice saying, hey, come and jump in here. And they're like, well, he's like, well, who the hell are you? Like, I don't know if I want to take my risk going with you or staying out here with the monster, but, I'm not just going to go do something on the whim. And he's like, well, if you want to survive, you want to jump in here. So he ends up doing that. Right. And that's when they first introduced to the Zillions, an alien race on the planet. And they explained to both Glenn and Fuji, because obviously Glenn was taken earlier. That's why he couldn't talk to him through the comm. But the Zillions start explaining how, they're trying to find a way to combat Ghidorah, Monster Zero, because the monster keeps attacking them. So that's why they live underground now, to avoid destruction from Ghidorah. And and that's basically, they're just trying to determine with the Earthlings like how to combat them. So they start mentioning, well, you have a pair of monsters on your planet, Godzilla and Rodan, that we'd like to borrow. That's what they call it, borrow, to handle this problem with Ghidorah. And in return, they would give them information and scientific research to cure cancer. And so that's basically the deal that's being made there with that. So you can pass it to whoever you want.
No. And I'll add to that too, that the fact that the Exilians were able to really have that type of technology to, like, obviously they're superior technology wise to Earth and everything like that. The Planet X is somewhat livable, but it's not stable. And the fact that they want to be able to use Rodan and Godzilla to face, King Ghidorah, aka Monster Zero, and they say they number everything, which is cool. It's like, it's science fiction to me, at its core, and that's what I love about it, and that's what I wanted to add to it. And man, I mean, like, we gotta say, man, like, in this one they made Ghidorah look badass. Like, they made Ghidorah look badass. This is for Godzilla, this is one of my favorite Showa suits, and Rodan still looks pretty imposing. Not like further into the show where he gets to look a little more a little more funny, a little more goofy. But this one you could tell they took him seriously enough to make we're gonna make a better suit, stuff like that. So, but it's pretty. I really like. That's what I like about it. That's what I really like about that part where the suits look good, the background looks good, Planet X looks good, and the fact that the Zillions are highly advanced as far as technology was a plus to that. And now I'll pass it to Gojira 51.
All right, can you guys hear me better now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna use my tablet from now on. My phone is apparently like almost 10 years old. So yeah, I'll just use my tablet from now on. Okay. So
Cool.
So now, we get to the part where the humans were kidnapped now.
No. Well, they were taken, but this is before they retrieved Godzilla and Rodan.
Oh, Leslie Chambers is in the house.
Chambers.
What's up, brother?
Okay.
The
What's
Leslie
up, Leslie?
Chambers.
What is up, man? Thanks for stopping by, Leslie. And yeah, man. We're just we're talking. As you can see, we're talking about Invasion of Astro Monster, aka Godzilla versus Monster Zero, and it says the fact that Mothra's pivotal role in the last movie is flat out ignored is comical to me for some reason. It makes sense. But go ahead, Gojira. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that one.
That's all right. So we just got Mothra. Mothra. So we just got Godzilla and Rodan now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they bring Godzilla and Rodan to Planet X, and they begin their battle with Ghidra, which don't ask. All right, they're Earth monsters fighting in space. Don't ask. It just happens. It's the rule of cool to see Godzilla and Rodan fighting in space, and it just go with it. And it's a fun fight, and you can see Godzilla, do more wrestling moves than he normally would have, in other films. This is when I want to say this is kind of like the birth of the superhero Godzilla in a way, but not really full on the superhero Godzilla. The 70s is the full on superhero Godzilla, but this is now that he did a full on Luthez press onto Ghidra, started punching on him. We got Rodan flying and dropping rocks and everything, and it was a very fun back and forth. But eventually they get the upper hand over Ghidra and they drive him off. And the people, the aliens of Planet X are all happy. The humans are very happy, with this transaction, and they are given this tape. And on this tape is supposed to be the secret, information to cure, diseases and all this stuff to come back to Earth, and it's all going to be all hunky dory. Everybody's going to be all nice and happy. And then we get the ominous laugh. Wait, hold on, I got the thing for it. Hold on. I'm a dork.
I do have to say, when they're leaving Planet X and leaving Godzilla and Rodan behind, Fuji's like, oh man, they look like they're upset and feel rejected that we're leaving. And Glenn's like, fuck them, they've hurt us enough. F them dudes, they can figure it out.
Yeah, look at all the damage they did to us. Screw them. But hold on.
Typical American.
So we got the ominous laugh from the controller of Planet X. So it's like, I think we've been had. So our heroes get back to Earth and they start playing the tape, and it does not have the answers that we want. It's essentially saying, "Hello, this is Planet X, and we are coming to conquer you with the monsters you gave us to help us, and get ready for us to come and just kick the shit out of you, pretty much." And next thing you know, they show up on Earth with Godzilla, Rodan, and Ghidra, and they're ready to kick the crap out of us. And they took Tetsui and his little annoying invention. Yeah, I don't like loud noises either, so I'm with the Exilians on this one. I don't like that sound either. Even as a kid, I hated that sound.
Sound in the world.
Yeah, even as a kid, I hated that sound, and especially what we got here. Keep doing what you're doing, dudes. Y'all are doing amazing. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you,
Thank
Leslie.
you. Yes, he is.
Much
Leslie
appreciated.
is-
Much appreciated.
Leslie, man, appreciate you coming.
Yep.
Coming on, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. He is one of the cornerstones of the Godzilla community.
He is.
Yep. Love that,
No,
man.
thank you, man. Thank you. No, but, hey, man, Leslie, you know, we really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it, and you know, thanks for that. And yeah, man. I mean, if anytime we do another Sci-Fi Society show, man, I mean, I'll make sure to let. I think you're on my Facebook friends list, and if so, yeah, like I can let everybody know. That's why I always, you know, share it and stuff in some of the group pages and stuff. But really appreciate you stopping by, man. And yeah, we all know who you are, man. And hopefully G Fest 2026, man. So, but thank you a lot for stopping by, man. But I was gonna say I wanted to add some things that
Please do.
Gojira had forgot, and I want to mention back to the first battle on Planet X.
Yes.
The fact that Godzilla and Rodan took like no time. They took no time, man, and freaking and driving off Ghidorah like quick, man. Like, hey, you know what? It's this dude again. Let's wreck this dude. Like, no freaking fighting amongst each other. Let's just beat his ass. Let's make a statement. You know, we're dropped on a freaking place where we don't know where the fuck we are. So it's like, what the hell are we gonna do? It's just let's smash this dude because we're already in a bad mood. They woke us up. We were freaking, you know, just chilling, minding our own business. And these fools, I don't know how the hell they got us to another planet. So then we end up, you know, bumping into Ghidorah. So like this just beat his ass. So, but I want to mention one of the more campier parts was when Godzilla started doing the dance. He started doing that crazy, you know, Japanese dance. And that's when you know that it was like Gojira said, like this is where Godzilla's superhero, what do you call it, mystique was coming out, and that was also a great one. And then we cannot forget, also DJ Nubis was funny when when they actually leave Planet X and Rodan and Godzilla looking at him like, y'all, what the hell, y'all leaving us here with us? What's up with that, man? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And like Nick Adams, like, those fools freaking gave us enough trouble, man. They can find their own way home. It's like just like typical motherfucking you know, freaking
American, yeah.
you know, American, you know, always having to be yeah, you know, y'all did some shit to us, so you know, we all remember what you did, you two fools. So you guys belong here. But that's also funny. But also we cannot forget the beautiful Kumi Mizuno coming out as Namikawa, and she was like as I got older, she did become a bit of a crush, you know. But I mean, come on, she was like this was in the '60s, man. I was like freaking, I was in the '90s, but yeah, she's always been a great actress. Nick Adams, you know, Kira Takarada, and then back to what Gojira was saying about the miracle drug that supposedly the Exilians wanted to give to Earth, and that was just a ruse. And then now they want full on domination of Earth. Now that they have Rodan and Godzilla, you know, they fell for it, fell right into a trap, you know. And I like the way Nick Adams, even the '60s style, like double crossing thinks. And I'm like, it's just, you know, it's great. Like it's so much nostalgia in the '60s, and it always brings back those memories when I was a kid eating pizza and stuff like that, you know. But no, yeah, man. But now from there, I'll pass it to where we left off was when Planet X already, you know, declared domination over the planet, this and that. So I'll leave it to Jake.
Just wait, one thing real quick. One thing that I forgot to say was they knew what they were doing, and they had Ghidra in their pocket the whole time. So they had him throw the fight to make it look like Godzilla and Rodan won. So they could actually, you know, have the entire fight in their corner so that when they, you know, come back to Earth. So that's how they had control over everything. So, you know, that just shows how devious they were being the entire time. So they knew the entire storm that they were doing, Ghidra attacking them and quote making them go underground and conquering them and everything. They were doing it all to themselves the whole time. So yeah, okay, all right, I'm done.
I was just going to say too.
It makes sense. Go ahead, Walt.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, kind of like how Tyson lost to Jake Paul, kind of like that, you know.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, it makes sense, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
that's
It's
exactly
true.
what
No,
it
but
was.
that's good info, Gojira. Yeah, it makes sense, man. Like, I mean, but still, bro, Rodan and Godzilla still would have whooped his ass. But
well, yeah,
but no, what do you call it? But no, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, Jake.
All right, so Godzilla and Rodan and Ghidorah are now on Earth. They send Ghidorah out to go ahead and start destroying stuff, but they leave Godzilla and Rodan in a way because they're giving them time to make their decision because of the altercations. Well, while that's going on, Glenn goes to the forgot the name of the company now, the supposed company that's the Earth base. He goes to find Nakawa.
Namikawa.
Namikawa.
Yeah, Namikawa.
Thank you. And he ends up finding her, and he feels betrayed and all that, but realizes that she really has fallen in love with him, but it's against their law because they go by a freaking computer that tells them what
Yeah.
to do and all that. So she goes to hug him and slips in the device that Tetsuya created while he's locked in the in a dungeon underneath the basement thing. So they sent him down after they killed Nakiwala. I said it close.
Namikawa.
Namikawa. Hey, I got dyslexia, so I have trouble.
Jake, don't worry, because I was doing the same thing. Don't feel bad.
So, but
It's all
anyway,
good, man. It's all good.
Glenn gets thrown into the prison jail cell with Tetsuo.
Tetsui.
Is it Tetsui? I always thought it was Tetsuo.
Tetsui. Yeah, Tetsui.
I
Yeah.
call him Tetsui because of the woman yelling his name. It's forever Tetsui from now on. I don't care what it says in the credits. It's Tetsui now. Tetsui!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and you have to say it like that. It has to be like that from now on. Yeah, you can't say it normally.
Tetsui!
Yes,
Say it like that.
exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
man, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, don't say it like that over and over again, but that's the way it is. And it's like,
But anyway, so a note falls out of Glenn's pocket explaining that she knew all this was going to happen and hands the device, and Tetsu says, "Oh, this works. Just listen." Presses it. It's like,
yeah.
and then here come the two exilian guards. They're like, "Shut it off! Shut it off!"
Yeah,
Glenn
they're
grabs
break
one.
dancing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like break dancing that much hurts.
Glenn grabs the one, and Tetsui grabs the key. They escape, and the exilians think they're on the boat, but they're not. And they destroy the boat. Well, Glenn and them pop out of the lake, and they're like, "Oh, that worked. Let's swim on." So as they're swimming, they arrive at the station where the rocket is, and they meet Doctor and Fuji there because they're trying to come up with a plan. And Glenn explains to Fuji that, hey, this device works. Tetsui has something here. So they take the technology and create the
racket machine.
Yeah.
They can broadcast.
Racket.
Yeah. So they create that, and as they work in on that, these aliens send Godzilla and Rodan to attack. So they're destroying villages. Godzilla using his breath, Rodan with his hurricane wind, and then Ghidorah. Oh, sorry. That's up my. Ghidorah is attacking, I think, Tokyo in the film. I can't remember. Either Tokyo or Osaka. One of those two.
Mhm.
It's close.
So I'm close. So as each one of them are destroying parts of a village or city, they finally are able to finish the movable devices, the little siren things. So they're getting in position, and as they're getting in position, Godzilla, Rodan, and Ghidorah all are together in one like line, and then they fire the machine, and they're all getting electrified and all of that, and they're like, and then once that happens, they're like, oh, one by one, and then Godzilla's weird thing like when he falls back, and then after they're shaking, it's like, hey, I'm back to consciousness. Let me get up. And then Godzilla's like, huh? Oh, there's that son of a bitch.
Right.
Meanwhile, Rodan's like looking like he just had an all-nighter on drugs and shit. He's like, "What's up, dude?"
Right.
Yeah, because after
Right.
Ghidorah fires the lightning, he hits his tail hits Rodan. He's like, oh, what just happened? Oh, where am I? Oh, it's that son of a bitch. Uh-oh, I gotta fight now. So I'll let somebody else take it from there.
Okay, I'll give it well, no, I'll go back on some of that stuff. It is hilarious, man. Like the way Godzilla falls holding his hand, and then Ghidorah falling back, and then Rodan falling. Like Rodan fell quick, man. When he was done, he just flapped on his back, and he was flapping his legs and everything, and Godzilla just went down, and Godzilla was shaking. Like you could see he was like twitching and stuff, and that was hilarious, man. And Ghidorah's heads were all just also shaking and stuff, and yeah, man. But when Godzilla's tail hits Rodan right in the chest, Rodan's like, what? Huh? He's like, did I get laid? Anybody tell me what I do wrong?
His expression is priceless, man. If you look at it, it's just like,
Yeah, but I had to get there, man. Because I admit, when I saw that scene, I laughed, bro. I was like, oh my god, man, come on, bro. You're supposed to be on your A game all the time, and he looked like he had a hangover. He looked like he had a hangover when he got up.
He
And
was
it
like,
was just yeah, it was funny, man. But
What's going on?
yeah, it's funny, man. But no, okay, I'll leave part of the okay. We'll break down the fights, but I wanna hear Hoserman next, Primo's thoughts on the battle, when they start battling, and how you liked how it played out, and what things you liked about it, Primo.
All right. Well, I'm not much for words, so but I did enjoy the fights. They were really coordinated really well. Of course, my favorite is the Godzilla victory dance when he, jumps up and down and dance as Ghidorah flies away. Godzilla say, "I'm number one, you bum,"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. All the fight scenes were pretty cool. I mean, that's why I enjoy Godzilla movies, because of the fight scenes and the destroying of buildings and tanks and stuff.
mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Oh, cool. No, yeah. Like okay. Before we get to the battle, everybody will put their 2 cents on the battle, because I know everybody wants to talk about the battle. Like, oh, fuck the humans, just talk about the fighting.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, but yeah, like the miniatures, man. Like the acycle light rays, and like of course the miniatures of the tanks and everything. Everything looks so good, man. Like every single time we talk about Godzilla films like this, like the props, the miniatures, the animatronic vehicles, like all of that is it's so good, man. It's so like I don't even want to know for that time in the 60s how much they had to work, and who knows how much malfunctions a lot of those animatronics went through, and then had to make sure that it didn't happen during filming. And did they have time constraints at this point, Walter? They started having time constraints with movies like that, right? Since they were
They
bigger.
did well. Remember, they didn't have. See, that's the thing about them. They didn't have a lot of money, but see, they were very efficient in doing these things. Because you got to remember, just a year before, they did, two kaiju films. Mothra versus Godzilla, Dogora, and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. But you had other films in between. The people who did the effects did other. I mean, that was like 4 or 5 sticks in between just those, and they were just multi-quick with it. It took them like maybe 1 month to do the effect, or I say put like this: film all the things with the character actors, then shoot all the stuff with the miniatures with the suit actors, get that in the can, edit it, sound, all that. They did that in like, I mean, you gotta think. Someone brought this to my attention, Dave Khaled. He brought this to my attention that you think of all the films they did early 60s and put that in the mindset, and it was by the same people. They did this in like maybe less than a month. I mean, they had to build up like the things, when I say the things, the stationery, and for to put the mountains, the paintings, the sets, all that stuff. They did all this in record time. They were just that efficient. I mean, they didn't just wait around, wait like 2 hours to build a set or anything. No, dude, they got that like quick. So what you see on screen, especially here in Astro Monster, dude, it marvels in the fact that they did a lot of stuff in record time. Now, in a way, they did have a constraint, but they were just that efficient in how they produced their effects. Produce the films they did. They didn't just wait around. They didn't just do something and just say, we'll wait around for like a day or two to do it. No, they got on the ball. They didn't dick around. They say, let's get this done. And once they got it done, and there were, and as you mentioned, there were some, misfires, some, happy accidents, or some things that didn't work well. But they did it, cut it to where it was supposed to look like it's supposed to look like, and they got it in the can. And what you see is what you got. It's funny how, because I didn't think about that at the time. I was thinking like, okay, it's different people doing these things. No, it was always the same people doing these effects up until the late 70s, and it's just like, wow, and it's incredible how they were able to do such magnificent work, and especially in this film. I mean, the miniature work in the sets and everything, it blows me away still. I'm like, we still saw a lot of stuff in Ghidorah or, Mothra versus Godzilla, but for some reason in here, it's like they stepped up to their A game. I guess because they were still learning from what they were doing, and they just process it even better. Because as I say, what you see is what you get, and they were just good at that. It's like I say, they didn't waste no time. In a way, there was a constraint, but that constraint, I think, gave them leeway to say, "Hey, let's not mess around. Let's get this done. Let's get it going."
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to ask, like, just to, because I know you go deeper into, like, when you read the sets, when you get those books about how the movies were produced, how the movies were made, and that's why I wanted to just get that information. I wanted to get that information from you just before that. But now to the fight. I'll start off with DJ Nubis, man. Ghidorah, Rodan, and Godzilla wake up. Now it's time to throw down, man. Godzilla's kicking rocks at Ghidorah. Tell us what you thought about the fight, and what were your favorite parts about it. It's not a very long fight, but it just but let me know what your thoughts about it.
Yeah, so it's not one of the better ones. Now, obviously, when I think back to Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus Gigan, there were Ingarius would back into Ghidorah and stuff like that. But you have Rodan, who's at the time when he's in Suitmation, he's not as agile as he is in the Monsterverse, right? But I did even though it is the sort of campy type of stuff that we've seen in other films, where Rodan picks him up by the shoulders and throws him into Ghidorah, I thought that was kind of funny. But overall, like the fight's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, and Gojira.
It's a fun fight. I love it when they get up and Godzilla, like y'all said, he's all dazed and confused. Like he just like ate an entire pizza by himself. He's like, what did I just do? And he's like looking around and he sees Ghidra. He's like, hey, Rodan, get up. And he like kicks a rock. He's like, wake up. And then they just like pretty much pick up where they left off on Planet X. Yeah, they're just they're tackling each other, doing their thing, and then surprisingly, I didn't realize how strong they made Rodan in this film. When he's actually able to lift Godzilla up off the ground and fly with him, and actually have the three of them tackle into each other. I don't mean to give away the ending, but I just thought that was a fun little end of the fight to see how much stronger they made Rodan in this film as well. And again, it wasn't really that long of a fight, but
yeah.
Basically take down in mere minutes.
True.
Fights is the last film. Indeed, I agree.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was more dominant in Ghidra Three-Headed Monster. I did enjoy Ghidra Three-Headed Monster more than Monster Zero. Monster Zero is a fun film. And actually, Leslie invited me into his home back in 2016. I was up in North Carolina for a wedding. He actually invited me into his home. We actually talked about this. And I did say that Monster Zero I did not really like in the Godzilla franchise. And he's like, really? Why not? And I said, because of Ghidra Three-Headed Monster. He's like, oh, okay, I understand that. But I do enjoy Monster Zero, but I believe Ghidra 3 Monster is the better film, but I do enjoy what Monster Zero does have to offer. But yeah, the Ghidra 3 Monster fight is the better of the fights. But this was a fun, and I do like what they did with Rodan in this fight as well. And again, the ending is a shocking ending, and I like that shocking ending, even though it's not the ending I wanted. It is a great shocking ending, and sometimes you have to have that shocking ending to hook you, to bring you into the next film as well. So, is there if I give it away? I mean, it's an old film, so I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it, and all of our viewers have seen it as well if they're watching our live stream. Should I just give it away?
I just don't. Go ahead, man.
Ghidra wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghidra actually wins. Ghidra actually leaves Godzilla and Rodan under the sea, knocked out because of course there's films after this. So yeah, he leaves them knocked out and he flies off into the air. He goes off to do whatever and just go back out to space. And yeah, it's actually a very shocking. It's a very almost like a very bleak ending. Like Ghidra actually is victorious, and then eventually we get into, I believe, Sea Monsters, the next film after this, which maybe we're having a discussion about that. I don't know. But anyway,
is it confirmed though? Is it confirmed that he won?
Well, that's how the movie ends. Is with Ghidra flying off into the sunset, not really off into the sunset, flying off in the sky, and Godzilla and Rodan staying underwater. And the humans like, hey, did he kill them? No, maybe he just knocked them out, pretty much. And
I think he says something like, they're tough, and I guess, but the implication is maybe Godzilla and Rodan kind of like won in a sense that they chased him off, but he's the door is the only one that came out of the water, so it's hard to say. But
they're not bad.
Right.
It's kind of like the King Kong versus Godzilla ending in a way.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The way how the music, like the sting of the music, and the way how Ghidra rose out of the water, it felt like, and the way the horror on the people's faces, it felt like, in my opinion, Ghidra won the fight. But I don't know. I mean, that's why the movie's open to interpretation, I guess. I don't know. We don't see Godzilla and Rodan laying down on the ground defeated, so the Monsters Ghidra was more badass, 65.
Why? I mean, he is a badass in the Monsterverse. Yeah. You're right, Leslie. He is.
Yeah,
I have to agree.
The Monsterverse.
No, yeah.
Hey, I love the Monster vs. Ghidorah, but hey, the show of Ghidorah is awesome as well. I love it. There isn't really a bad Okay, maybe there is a bad Ghidorah, but we don't have to talk about that one. But most Ghidorahs are badasses. Okay, so but the show of Ghidorah is a badass. Whoever says the show of Ghidorah is not a badass, they need to sit down and rewatch these films. He is a badass. Like usually need 2 or 3 monsters, sometimes 10 monsters to beat Ghidorah in these films. I'll destroy all monsters, but anyway. So
No, I mean, no, but I'm saying like I don't know. Everybody knows I'm also a fan of. I'm a huge fan of the famous four, and Rodan, Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah, and like I can. Well, it's like a toss up for me. Like I think they either. I think Rodan, Godzilla won, and Ghidorah just flew off because I'm tired of this freaking shit. I got my ass beat in Planet X. Now I got my ass beat on Earth. But it could also been, it could have been a draw. It could, Ghidorah didn't want none of it. Godzilla and Rodan went their separate ways. They're like, okay, whatever, Ghidorah obviously does not like Earth, and he's always controlled to go there for some reason, but it's like, except from the first Ghidorah, I agree with Leslie Chambers and everybody, a lot of people here, that Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, is my #1 Godzilla movie. And that's my favorite Godzilla movie ever, because Ghidorah was the first time all 3 of them had come together and faced a terror like that. But like as far as Godzilla, Invasion of Astro Monster, aka Godzilla versus Monster Zero, the fights were, at least it was 2 fights. You got to fight, halfway in the movie, then you got the fight at the end. And I have to agree with Gojira that Rodan knocked Ghidorah down twice, like nothing. And I wish they could have implemented that in the first Ghidorah, in the first movie, Ghidorah 3 and a Monster. But it's kind of like, I would understand why, but either in my mind, it's like Godzilla and Rodan were like fed up with Ghidorah. Like, look, we faced you already. Now you're back. Now we're gonna now, instead of Godzilla and Rodan, fighting against each other, they actually team up right away. They don't even take no time. They're like, let's get this fool. Like, let's wreck this dude. Like, let's wreck him. But it could be a draw though. Like towards the end when they all fall in the sea, I think it could have been a draw. But that's just what I'm thinking, because I am also a huge Ghidorah fan. But that's just my take on it. I'll pass it to Walter.
Well, I was gonna, like I said, I kind of agree with Gojira kind of brings up a good point. See, I never even interpreted that way, as far as Ghidorah winning. But then again, that makes kind of good sense. It's just like you say, you interpret it your own way, and now thinking about it, it's kind of what Jake brought up. It's kind of like when Kong fought Godzilla. He emerges out of the sea and swims away. We don't. And yeah. I won't dispute that.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
No, I mean it's funny because, like I say, it's anyone's interpretation. You could say he lost and he flew away, or he pretty much knocked out Rodan and Godzilla and he flew away, and say, hey, I'm victorious. I'm still a badass. You can't defeat me. So it's but I feel it's kind of like what Lady's saying. It does feel kind of flat, because as much as I like this film, as much as I love it, for what it is, the fight in the previous Gojira film, I feel was better weighed in the fight, because.
Well, you know what happened, right? So what happened with the other film is that there was too much monster fighting. So the fans got angry and said, we want more people and characters. So now Invasion gives you the characters with less fighting. I'm kidding, of course, but that's pretty much how you would apply it to today's society.
I was about to say, news. What the F?
Let me see.
You know what? You know what? You're not wrong. I know you meant that as I know you're messing around
a joke, but yeah.
You got to admit though, there is the story is a wider range story though.
Yeah,
like it is a wider range story based off of Invasion instead of just Ghidorah. Instead of just Ghidorah that fell and from a as a meteorite, and then they're still trying to guess what he is when they're, but it makes sense. Like the story felt like it went longer, and the characters are more spread out than in Ghidorah. Like in Ghidorah you had the girl from Venus, and then you had the sister, and then you had Shindo and all that stuff, and then Dr. Murai. This one they had Nick Adams, they had Akira Takarada, they had as Fuji, and then they had Tetsuyo, and they had the sister, then they had the doctors, and then they had all the auxilians. So it was the cast was, and the story was more spread out. So I'll just add to that. And what you're saying, Walter, like Leslie said, like it did fall flat, but then again, it could be in my opinion, it could be anybody's like a toss up about they're leaving it like a little, like how do you say it? They leave it as a cliffhanger.
Right.
Rodan and Godzilla come back. Rodan comes back for Destroy All Monsters. Godzilla comes back for the Sea Monster. So it is anybody can toss it up and I guess and view it how they want. But yeah,
Because remember,
that's what I wanted to add.
Anybody can say that did Godzilla actually win in King Kong versus Godzilla, or did Kong win in that? We don't. I mean, we can easily say that Kong lost. We can easily say that, but do we really want to say that's what happened? We don't, because it was a toss up between America and Japan saying, well, our monster kicked this America's monster's ass, but the American monster kicked this Japanese monster's ass. It's like, we don't want to do that. We'll just say, hey, leave it up, as you say, leave it as a toss up, So I guess that's what's happening
That's
here.
That's why Wingard got it right.
Right.
He put things right.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, I'll go to Jake.
So, and this is gonna be kind of funny because when I first watched the ending, I only saw Godzilla and Ghidorah going down the hill. I didn't realize Rodan was actually in it until I watched it for like the 10th time. And I was like, oh, so Rodan also fell in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like,
What would you stepping on my computer?
huh, interesting. And I treat the ending kind of almost like King Kong versus Godzilla in a way. I'm gonna say that it could have ended in a draw and just Ghidorah just fled, but it could be many interpretations and all that. But I do believe that because of Rodan as strong as they made him in that film, because he was holding Ghidorah's tail while Godzilla was like, take this, take that. On all
like
three hits.
bobbing and weaving.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, he's all
Dodge.
Brad.
There you go, right there, right.
So, I mean, it was a decent fight, but they did make Rodan, even though he may have been drunk as hell, like, hey, because Godzilla's like, hey, what the hell are you doing? And then just boom, and then into the water. And then as they're looking over in the sea, they're like, with those expressions as Ghidorah is just like, fly away, my pretty. Oh, hell.
That was.
Oh, man.
No, yeah, but
No, that's.
I like how
So,
how Matt's figurine is like almost bigger than he is. It's like the way he's got it set up. It's like, I can't really see him. He's like hiding.
Oh, what's this, guys?
yeah, like Ultraman Primo showing like part of the I mean, like I said, like I mean, if Leslie's still watching, here I'm a huge Rodan fan, but I also really love all of Godzilla's allies. Like I really do love all of Godzilla's allies, and but Rodan to me has seemed to be, aside from Mothra, has seemed to be the more prevalent ally. Like he helped Godzilla and Ghidorah, and then the first time they came together in Monster Zero, and then in Destroy All Monsters, and then of course in the Heisei era, so well a last minute ally, but like to me it seems like he's the most prominent ally. But I my boy Rodan shined in this one, dude, and he's a strategic dude, man. Like he uses rocks, he flies, he freaking knocks him down. He freaking knocked him down twice. When Godzilla is wrestling with Ghidorah, Rodan's like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna spring off Godzilla and I'm gonna knock this mofo down, and he does it twice. And then he does it a third time when he carries Godzilla and flies him into Ghidorah. So I'm like that's what I love about it. Rodan shined, even though the fights were very short and the story was more eccentric and it was a little like stretched out. As far as the fighting goes, like I mean, I enjoyed it, man. My boy Rodan shined, but like I said, I love all the famous four, all famous four Toho.
Hey, sci-fi.
And then we'll go ahead.
Well, let me just add this real quick. Rodan, as I read up on him, when you said he's strategic, is his background. He is that. He's very smart in categorizing what needs to be done in terms of, this needs to be done this way and this needs to be. Because remember, in Ghidorah, he was the one who told Martha to get on his back so she can spray her, web on Ghidorah, while Godzilla's got him distracted and everything. So yeah, he's a thinking. Not to say the other kaijus aren't thinking, but he is a thinking kaiju. So yeah, Rodan is a very thinking individual. He's very strategic when he does his. I want to throw that in there.
Yeah, let me just get back before I get to Primo. I want to get to Leslie Chaver's comment. And yeah, see, they could have done something like that. Even if, because we all know Ghidorah is like Ghidorah. You would probably need even in the Showa era, you would need more than one kaiju to even fight off Ghidorah. So that makes sense. But like Rodan and Godzilla, like them together, Rodan and Godzilla are a freaking force to be reckoned with. So I can imagine why they would have gone with Godzilla instead of Mothra and Mothra, and they went with Rodan and Godzilla. So and I agree. Like, why couldn't they have just shown, or even if Ghidorah somehow managed to beat Rodan and Godzilla, that they could have merged and be like, okay, they go the separate ways. Okay, whatever. Live to fight another day, stuff like that. But yeah, that makes sense. That would have been much better. Like that still would have been like a much better ending. You know what I mean? And now I'll go to Hoserman next on the last just your last thoughts, Primo, on the film.
All right. Well, it's an excellent film. I do agree with what Leslie said. If the ending should be what he just said was, them going their separate ways, at least they should have showed Godzilla and Rodan going their separate ways. That would give us, the audience, at least a little hope, saying, hey, everything's going to be good. So, but it was good,
Yeah. Cool, Primo. All right, now, last thoughts, gentlemen, my brothers. Okay, I'll go with Gojira 5-1.
Great film. Really liked it. Gave it another chance after all these years, and it's far more enjoyable. It's great after Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, and it's a nice sequel to it, and it enhances the Godzilla franchise. It brings in aliens. It enhances Ghidorah's story as well, because Ghidorah, falls from space and comes down in a comet. So now we get to see him in space now and do his thing. We get to see aliens, give Godzilla something extra to do as well. So it's a fun story. You get to see Rodan come back. We get to see them move on to the future, do their own things as well. And it's great stuff. And also that brings in, future aliens as well. I know people don't really like the Keylocks in the Destroy All Monsters. I like the Keylocks, and I like Destroy All Monsters. But anyway, we'll get to that some other time. But anyway, it opens the door for a lot of really cool things. And I've given this movie, I've opened the door again for this, and I really enjoy this film a lot more.
Sir Jake.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, bro. I was saying Jake.
no, but I was gonna say it's definitely a watchable movie. I can watch it over and over again.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Just call it out, Primo. Just call it out. You want to say something, add something, then yeah, it's cool. No, cool.
Go ahead, Jake.
Go ahead, Jake.
All right. Definitely enjoyed this film. I definitely like the Japanese version better than I do the English. That's for sure. It's a fun sequel to Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. We got to see a drunk Rodan and Godzilla fight a knocked up Ghidorah. So, I mean, it was a fun, entertaining movie.
Sir Jedi Grand Bell.
Yeah, and I put my 2 cents. It's, as I say, even though the fights in the previous film, Ghidorah film, were a little bit better, this film has what I said before. It's more robust in terms of the story, and like I say, adding the alien invasion on there. It's like I say, it's a lot more complex, and I think for me personally, I like complexity in a film because you kind of really kind of dig around and kind of really like scrape like what is really happening, and it's done well enough where it's like you're not left like so distraught or like this and like, what are you talking about? What is going on here? It's like it's to the point, and you don't fall flat on story. You realize like this character's doing this character's doing that, but all in all, this film is this definitely a favorite of mine. I mean, like I say, I can say it's one of the better Godzilla films or Gojira films, So yeah, definitely up
there. The Master in Chief of the Metal Tavern, Anubis.
Is it the best film in my list? No, it's probably around 18. I think when I did it with you guys before when we ranked them, but it's not the worst either. So it's definitely in the middle for me. But I still enjoy it. It's hard not to like any Godzilla film, really, to be honest. But as far as like my love for it, like I do like, as Jake said, I do like the Japanese version better than the English version. Yeah, so I mean, it's a fun film, but it's not one of my favorites.
Blasphemy. Heresy.
That's a heresy.
Yeah.
It's essentially like, why did I invite this asshole on here?
No, I would kick you off, but no, I'm not like that. I'm not like Kevin and some other people, man. Like I'm cool like that,
Like I do with the Tony.
No, but oh man, poor Tony, bro. Yeah, but it's all good. Tony, I'll get Tony on here one of these days too. But no, yeah, like it's definitely up in my top 10. But it's also because it came after Ghidorah, and like a lot of you guys already said, like the story is expanded, and it's a story about aliens, and they expanded more on the story than the monster fighting. But what do we love? We love the monster fights, man. Especially when we were young, because we don't understand we don't like the freaking what do you call it, the subtitles and shit like that, when they're talking and stuff. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's definitely top 10. My boy Rodan, knocked Ghidorah down a few times, and eat that, Anubis. But
to be fair,
fighting words.
To be fair, it's still in my A tier. So when I broke them up, I had like C tier, B tier, A tier, S tier, and then the best. So it's in A tier. So it's doing okay.
Well, I'm glad. There. Now you're back in my good graces. So keep going. Keep going.
Wow.
No, but before we close it out, Primo Hoserman X said he had some photos that he could show real quick. I don't know. Can you show them? Like, do you have them as? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So they're on your phone.
I do Yeah, I do have the movie cover that I have. Let me hold on. Let me switch over.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Because he has a
I
what do you
went
call it?
to
Autograph.
this movie for me. Let me see if you
Okay.
can see it.
Oh yeah.
he signed
yeah.
it.
I don't know how well, 'cause-
Yeah, he said he did.
hold on.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
there in the
Okay.
silver, in the silver line right there. That's Haru Nakajima.
Nice.
No, I
In
see it.
kanji
Oh,
style,
wow.
I guess. I don't. It looks, it looks kind of like a scribble, but that's how he did it. And then Takarada is in the black marker. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Man, I
Very
would have like
If you can see that.
displayed that, put it like in a freaking, would have put it like in what do you
glass
call it, in a
box.
safe, in a clear
Yeah.
safe and stuff like that. You know.
Preserve it.
And you know what I find funny
But I like to
is
watch the movie sometimes, so I have to.
You can always get another copy. That's why.
Well, I was gonna ask Primo, you never got the, before we go, you never got the Criterion? You never got the Criterion collection?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, I was like, man, I would have displayed that, put it in freaking hard glass, and put it like on there. But no, thanks for showing us, Primo. But now that to wrap it all up, guys, I really enjoyed doing this live stream, man, and I'm glad you guys were able to jump on with me. And this is the last Sci-Fi Society live stream for 2024, and then hopefully maybe late January or early February, we got to get back to Conan the Barbarian. We got to get back to Red Horizon, and then Godzilla versus Gigan.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I'm really glad you guys joined. Yeah, I'm really glad you guys joined me on this. And it's always fun. It's always, to me, therapeutic, and it's a pleasure to, talk Godzilla with, the Sci-Fi Society. DJ Nubis, the Master Chief of the Metal Tavern, Jedi Granville, Hoserman X, his first time after like 2 years, jumping on the podcast, Gojira 851, Jake Hallman, and everybody who was watching, who jumped on, Leslie Chambers,
Hey,
Rob
Leslie,
from
thank you.
ETN, Entertainment Talk Nation, Kevin Lambert, from the Entertainment Headquarters, everyone who did watch. Thank you guys thank you always for jumping on, watching us, just talk shit, talk about Godzilla, mess with each other, banter. And remember, we are the Sci-Fi Society. And does anybody have anything lined up? DJ Nubis, you got anything lined up before I go real quick?
The next couple of days, tomorrow, Mr. Tony and I are getting together for Ghouls of the Midnight. Since next week is Christmas, so we're going to be doing a review of Gene Rollins' The Grapes of Death. And then Sunday, that young lady over there and I are going to be doing our top albums of rock and metal albums of 2024. So we'll be doing that on Sunday.
Sweet, sweet. Nice, cool. Jedi Granville.
I don't have nothing on my channel, but I will be attending one of our dear friends, Artistic Lizard, on his channel discussing a Christmas classic, Gremlins, this coming Sunday. It was supposed to be this Saturday, but he had to, work and everything. So we're going to do it Sunday night, and we're going to discuss it, briefly and everything. But that's something that's coming up that I'm going to be attending.
Cool. And Jake Hall, we know Jake's not really a content creator, but he is a part of the Sci-Fi Society. So anything we do, we'll always let him know. And I'm glad I was able to bring him on, because I wanted to bring him back on for at least another Sci-Fi Society podcast on Godzilla. So, and Gojira 851, what you got, man?
I have a special figure. It's finally been confirmed shipped. Don't know where it is, but it should be here probably beginning of next year, probably. But it'd be something if it came. It better not be, because if it is, I'll know where you live then. Let that sink into your nightmares. So anyway, so we got that. Yeah, I think that's just about it for right now. Yeah, just finishing up the rest of the year, and then that was the only thing that I had planned for the rest for videos. But yeah, that's just me.
Cool. Well, just for me, before we really wrap it up, I'm gonna take New Year's and the rest of the holidays off, and then I'll let everybody know, especially everybody in Sci-Fi Society, keep everybody updated on what comes next. Probably the Conan the Barbarian, and I really want to get that one, and Anubis and Gojira, definitely gonna have them on. Jedi Granville, I have to bring him on there. He's like a freaking he's like a kid. He's like a kid that has to stick with me all the time, man. Like just has to put his freaking. I might as well just
can't get him.
Yeah,
off.
I might as well just put his hand in my pocket and walk him around and show him off. I might as well just do that. But and Hoser Man next. He's also not much of a content creator, but I wanted to get him on, and I'm glad I was getting him on. But everyone who was watching, remember, we are the Sci-Fi Society. Gentlemen, don't go anywhere, but thank you all for watching. We always keep it raw and real. Happy holidays, happy New Year, and we are out.
Ooh, the Sci-Fi Society clone.
We are the Sci-Fi Society.
DJ Anubis. Here with the Meltdown Radio podcast with my special guest, Sci-Fi Century, our fearless leader and founder of the Sci-Fi Society.
That whole story, like, that's pay-per-view, guys. You don't get a lot of that stuff. All right,